Taking a look at the grid, Stoffel Vandoorne returned back to pole position in Q3 today, merely scraping past Daniel Ricciardo, with the front row separated by 0.02 of a second. The second row was also a fight over small margins, with Ricciardo's teammate of Verstappen close behind in third, 0.08 of the pace, and the Canadian pole sitter of Aarava in fourth, trailing by 0.1 of a second. The second McLaren of Lewis Hamilton found himself on the fifth row, alongside his old teammate of Nico Rosberg, who took sixth. Sebastian Vettel once again found himself on the fourth row, this time pairing up alongside the Mexican of Perez, with a poor qualifying from the German Wehrlein, who found himself alongside his fellow countrymen of Hulkenberg in 9th and 10th positions. So even though you qualified in 4th position today, there's got to be a lot of positives. The entire top 4 was separated by 1/10 of a second.
Yeah, definitely some positives to take away, being so close, especially after Red Bull bringing their huge upgrade. Renault have done a great job. They, look so quick down the straights. But, in Sector 2, we're bringing back some time, so it's good to see that the car on the chassis side is still very good. And, yeah, to see the McLarens also quite close to us in terms of actual time after their tweaking of the turbo. We did the same thing, but we weren't really sure who was going to come out the best in terms of those tweaks. So good to see that. Yeah, it's very, very close, and it's just a testament to how close this season's been so far.
You mentioned Mercedes' continued upgrades. Are you at all worried about the cars such as Manor and even Force India this weekend getting in the way of your championship fight with McLaren and Red Bull?
Yeah, we did some tweaks on the turbo for the team today, so that kind of improved efficiency there, and yeah, that's obviously trickled down to Manor and Force India and the other teams that have Mercedes engines. Force India, I think, have really capitalised this weekend. They're running quite a low drag setup, so they looked very, very quick out there in the speed traps, and it's good to see that. Checo, in his home Grand Prix, is up there in the top 10. In terms of being worried, not really. We provide them an engine and then they do the rest, so it's good to see for them that they're catching up to the rest of us, and I don't think so far they've really got in the way. I mean, Manor, we've had a few good battles and it hasn't really been much of an issue, and if they finish ahead of some Ferraris and a McLaren, then I'm not going to complain.
And finally, a word on Ferrari. They seem to be dwindling a little. Do you see them coming back into the fight eventually this season?
Yeah, I can definitely see them coming back. Also, you've got to say, on track record from last season, Hungary last season, I think it was, they brought an upgrade there last season, and it was just crazy how much speed they gained on the engine department. So, who's to say they can't do it again? I think the fact that they haven't really done many upgrades to their engine so far yet, I think it's just meant that the people that are upgrading, like us and McLaren and Red Bull, have just got ahead. But they can always come back. There's plenty of races left. There's only we've only done 6 and there's 14. So yeah, I mean, I can see them coming back eventually in the season. It's just about when they want to actually try and do that. And I think they've hit a bit of a wall in development, so that's going to be something they have to overcome.
Thanks for your time and good luck for the race.
All right, thanks a lot. What's going on, guys? Aarava here. Welcome back to my F1 MyDriver career mode, episode number 6 for season 2 here today for the Mexican Grand Prix. If you missed the last one, guys, the Canadian one, I highly recommend you go check it out before you see this one. Really awesome race. You guys seem to really enjoy that one, and the comments once again were absolutely fabulous to read, and it was awesome to read through that, guys. And also just the response to the episodes, just once again, I'll say it again, you're probably going to get tired of it by the 14th time I say it, but again, just thank you very much. It's been awesome, just awesome to make these videos and see the response. In terms of today's race, the strategy is going to be a 3-stop. Little bit of a glitch here on the game. It says all the tyres are going to be options, which is interesting. It's impossible because you have to put on the prime tyres. So we're going to go option, 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 prime till the end. Go fast at the beginning because the qualifying was covered by 4/10 in the top 4. Crazy. 1 to 4, 1/10. That is madness. So we're going to have to try and go as fast as we can at the beginning here. Let's see how we do today. We go to 5 red lights here at the Mexican Grand Prix. And we are off, and we're bogging down straight away. Verstappen gets a very good start. Hamilton gets a bolting start as well. And Vettel and Rosberg go around the outside of me on either side and kind of sandwich me there. Wehrlein stopped me moving from the moving to the left-hand side. I wanted to maybe go around the outside for turn 1, but no. Pascal's going to take that spot. So we go down the inside of both Ferraris here. You can see Perez there has made a stonking effort and has got up there and is battling Hamilton, and he goes kind of bashing his side pod there, and we're down to 7th place, down to 8th actually, because we're getting mugged off by the second Force India. The Force Indias are flying at the moment, and this is just crazy to witness. We're going to try and go down the inside of Hulkenberg, get that place back. We're also going to go down the inside of Rosberg because he goes really deep into that corner, and we've got it back up into 6th place. So that's Hamilton in 5th and Perez in 4th place, and the 2 Red Bulls, I think that is, chasing down Stoffel Van Dorn off pole position. So crazy to see Perez, absolutely awesome start. Look at that, ahead of Hamilton still by the end of lap 1 as we go through the final corner. Verstappen is in the lead of the Grand Prix, setting the purple lap time at the moment, as we expect, obviously, the race leader. So Verstappen leads the race here at Mexico. Absolutely crazy to see, and just showing the Red Bull really working its upgrades this weekend. We're getting a good toe off Hamilton, actually, though. So can we make a move down the inside? We dart there very late into the corner. We got the good slipstream, and we're up into 5th place. Hamilton actually doesn't give up too much of a fight there for 5th place, so maybe he's just conserving his tyres, maybe just kind of hanging back, not getting into any danger. Obviously, Hamilton's lagging a little bit behind compared to his teammate in the championship, so he's probably kind of playing it a little bit cautious, maybe. So anyway, on to lap 3 now, through the S section, trying to catch up on Sergio Perez, who made a stonking start to the Grand Prix at the moment. But we're getting a good run here. We're going to go on the inside. Perez not giving me much room. We go on the grass a little bit, and we're going to try and hang around the outside of Wanda. We're going to try our best. Yes, we do go a little bit wide. Perez tries his best to push me wide there. We go down the inside now on the left-hander. He'll turn to the outside. Perez gets the switch back, and he keeps 4th place at the moment. So Perez right now at his home Grand Prix doing a stonking effort right now as we get a bit of tail happy there. You can see, I hope you can see in the shadows there, got a bit sideways through the final corner, and that means Hamilton can try and slipstream me here, but I'm going to get some slipstream off Perez, so it's going to be a bit of a double toe for Hamilton maybe, but we're going to get a really good one with DRS on Perez. He's a sitting duck right now. We go down the inside. We're going to try and make it, but he brakes very well, so he's still there, but now we'll get him, and look at that, Hamilton very opportunistic in the mirrors there, and he got Perez, so now we can't to lap 5 immediately. Hamilton not wasting much time, 2 laps later, and he goes down the inside with me or DRS. You're going to see this a lot in this Grand Prix, I think, a lot of moves down to turn 1. We go side by side through the 2nd and 3rd corner. Hamilton just about gets it there as I take a tighter line, and Hamilton keeps it up in 4th place, and now Perez is going to come around the right hand side. He'll have DRS as well from Hamilton. We get oh so close with the front right there. We lock up trying to kind of outbrake Perez there, nearly go in the back of Hamilton, but it's worked out and we keep 5th place there, so we nearly lost 2 in the span of like a couple of corners and 1 little straight there. And now as we cut onto the end of lap 5, onto lap 6, it'll be now the other Force India of Hulkenberg behind us, who's going to try and chase us down. There he comes, like an absolute rocket ship. Look at that Force India. Low drag setup this weekend, really working an absolute treat there. I said in the post-Quali conference, the pre-race conference, that I thought Force India, you know, man, it was an issue if they kind of are fast. They're not really getting in the way too much, but at the moment, Force India are really giving me a good fight here at the moment. I might be a little bit too worried right now at how good they are with our Mercedes engine. We're going to try and dive down the inside of Hulkenberg to get that place back. He gives us the room there. We go side by side through this next section. We go round on the outside there, and we're just going to get the good traction, kind of showing our superiority there on the chassis. Hulkenberg tries his best. He tries his best to stick down the inside there. I just get it and just squeeze him out. We now cut onto the end of lap 6 right now, trying to chase after Hamilton, but we're actually going to pit very early right now, coming in for a very early pit stop, probably about 2 laps early than you might expect on the option tyres. But I just thought at this stage we're getting hampered by a lot of these other cars, Force Indias, getting hampered by the McLaren very, very fast. So I thought, let's try the undercut. Let's see how the undercut's going to work for this race, because this will sort of help me out later on in the Grand Prix to figure out when I'm going to be pitting. And also, it looks like, is that Force India following me into the pits? I think that's maybe Hulkenberg who's followed me into the pits. So me and Hulkenberg both doing an early pit stop there, and you can see 2 Saubers fighting up ahead, so we'll probably have to try and overtake them as fast as we can, not to get in any kind of dirty air and get held up a little bit. So anyway, we're into the second part, as it were, the stadium section of the Mexican Grand Prix lap, and we're chasing after Ericsson. We dive down the inside there, lock up a little bit, but we made that an easy move. Obviously, these guys have yet to pit yet, so their tyres are going to start wearing out a little bit. It's going to be a bit easier to get them, and through the S section, we should have the measure of Nasser here as we close up every single apex. Look how slow he's going through that left-hander. He's on prime tyres as well, on the white wall tyres, so he's going real slow there with the primes, and Vettel there in 14th place. So I think did Vettel make an early pit stop, or has he just had some sort of issue? I think he has had some sort of issue again. So that is Sebastian Vettel with maybe some more poor luck in this season. Literally, he's just been like nowhere this entire season. So much bad luck. I sort of feel sorry for him. And as we come through on lap 9, there is Hamilton. He was ahead of us, remember, by about a good half second there. And now we've jumped him by half a second. So the undercut working absolute treat. But now on lap 9, we will just push as hard as we can. We've got some clean air in front of us. We will just gun it and try and push as hard as we can to catch up to the top 3, because they got away from us quite a bit. And as we cut onto lap 14, that is exactly what we've done. Look at what we've got here. A 1-2 for Red Bull at the moment. Verstappen's still leading the way from the beginning. Ricciardo second, Van Dorn third. But we've caught up to them in about, what was that, 5 laps. 5 laps of just pushing non-stop. We got away from Hamilton. We closed up to these guys, but also at the same time, because of that, our tyres are absolutely wrecked at the moment. You can see going towards that kind of solid orange, kind of towards red stage. We're probably going to pit at the end of this lap, to be honest. Even though we've caught up to Van Dorn, it's quite kind of tempting to maybe stick behind them with some DRS, maybe try and make a move into turn 1. I think it's going to be better to, again, make the undercut, because this is the exact same gap we had from Hamilton before. So we make the exact same sort of pit stop. My logic is that we could maybe jump Van Dorn, maybe even Ricciardo, maybe even Verstappen if we're lucky. I don't know. If they hold each other up on this next in lap for them, maybe if they're pitting next lap, it could be quite a good call. So we're into the pits right now. Come on, Mercedes boys, let's make this a good one. Second pit stop for a second set of option tyres, or third set, I should say, of the Grand Prix. So our next stop will be another set of option tyres, and then we'll go for that fourth tyre set onto the prime tyres, the white wall to the end. So we're going to have the slowest tyre at the end. Probably most of the guys on the grid are going to do this. Quite a pattern right now at the top, the kind of top 10 basically on the prime tyre right at the end. So we all kind of stick to the same strategy. Otherwise, if you go on a counter strategy, it might seem tempting, but you just lose too much time when other people are on option tyres. So anyway, we come through on lap 16 towards lap 17 now. You can see a lot of people in the pits right there on the mini map. So we come through at the moment, third place. Will this be second? Yes, it will be. We're into second place. Van Dorn is into first. Ricciardo is third behind me. Verstappen is right behind him in fourth place at the moment. That is very interesting. Has Van Dorn pit yet? I'm pretty sure he surely hasn't. Surely hasn't. So does that mean we've jumped everyone? I literally think we have. I think literally I've done what I was just maybe tempting fate at, about jumping all 3 of those guys with an undercut. As we come through on lap 18, it's Van Dorn. It's Van Dorn. We're into first place of the Mexican Grand Prix. How about that, lads? That has worked out an absolute treat there in Mexico. What an undercut strategy call there. We're into first place. We didn't have to even make an overtake on track, and we gained 3 places there. That is, I don't want to blow my own horn there, but I think that's pretty genius, to be honest. So we're on lap 18 now. We're going to cut later on to the end of this lap in first place. We can see Ricciardo, though, is charging here. So we may be in first place. It's not over yet. That Red Bull is freaking fast in a straight line this Grand Prix, and it's not too shabby in the rest of the lap. Ricciardo, DRS, slipstream, comes on the right-hand side, overtakes it cleanly for first place. Van Dorn not too far behind. I'm guessing Verstappen the same thing. Can we try and outbrake Ricciardo maybe? He sticks really tight to the inside there. Maybe compromises his line a little bit. We try and just feed the line through. Get a good exit. Ricciardo, bit of a tail slap there. We go on the left-hand side, but we get on the grass a little bit. That slows down our acceleration, so we might have to hang back here. So I just can't make a move there. We cut later on, lap 20 through the S section. We're going to try and close up on Ricciardo maybe through the S section. We've been mighty through this section all Grand Prix, through practice, through qualifying. The car has felt planted in this section. We get a really nice run on Ricciardo here through the left-hander, and we're closing up Ricciardo. Get the slipstream. We're going to make a move down the right-hand side. He's going to stick to the outside, try his best to hang it around. He does successfully do it there, and he actually outbrakes me into the hairpin, so we're going to have to stick behind him. But look at that, right up his gearbox into the stadium section. The crowd is probably going wild for that. 2 cars battling for the lead, so close together. We've got DRS now on lap 21, the following lap. He's got no DRS. We try and go down the inside, but he's broken well again. Ricciardo really doing well to outbrake me here in these corners. Really top stuff. But we go round the outside of Ricciardo, and we just about managed to hang that round. He'll try his best, but no. Unlike Hulkenberg previously in the Grand Prix, he can't just manage to stick his nose in there. Probably would have been stupid of him to try it. So now we cut onto lap 22. It's not done. Ricciardo comes back with, again, you guessed it, some DRS and slipstream. Mexico, an absolute DRS and slipstream fest here on the main straight. Ricciardo goes past. We got Van Dorn trying to fly past there on the left-hand side out of nowhere. Didn't even see him in the mirrors. Van Dorn out of nowhere tries to... Oh, God, he's locked up and nearly gone to the back of Ricciardo there. We go side by side with the Mclaren. We try and push him wide a little bit. He's going to get a good run here on the outside line. He'll have DRS. We won't, because we're ahead of both these guys at the beginning. So Van Dorn gets some advantage here with the DRS flap. We try and stick it around the outside, which will turn to the inside of this next corner. We go really, really aggressively wide. He's having none of it, though. Van Dorn is making up for what happened in Canada. He's not having any of it. He tries his best round the outside, but look at that. He got such a poor exit on that right-hander towards the S section that he just completely messed it up. He was there. He had that position. He was round the outside with me, side by side, but his takeoff there on the right-hander was just so poor that I got that second place back. But on lap 24, he'll come back with some more slipstream, more DRS. He's right up our chuff, so this is going to be probably inevitable. We go to prime tyres on the menu there, pretty much kind of showing you that at this point I sort of given up the fight with Van Dorn and just thought he's going to overtake us maybe, but we're going to make the undercut because I think all these guys are going to, you know, the pattern's going to continue. All these guys are going to pit like a lap later than us. We go very deep to into that first corner there to fend off Van Dorn quite nicely, and we'll go to the prime tyres in the next coming pit stop. And you saw just there as I looked behind me there, Van Dorn getting attacked by Verstappen and Hamilton, and Verstappen is now in second and Hamilton's third, so Van Dorn is down to fourth place, so that's really helped me out there. He's been kind of attacked just as he tried to attack me there, so really nice work, guys. So we come into the pit stops for the final time. Prime tyres go on. Hamilton and Verstappen have come in, I believe, at the same time. There's Verstappen and then there's Hamilton right behind, so I think Van Dorn has continued on, so we'll see if the undercut is going to work for the third time in this race. I'm hoping so, fingers crossed. But we come out of the pits there on the white wall tyres. That's a Ferrari coming through of Rosberg there. I'm pretty sure he's yet to make his last pit stop, so I don't think he will be for position in the long run, but we'll try our best to catch up to him, but I'm not going to really be too bothered if I don't. And we cut onto lap 29, and by the time we do kind of close up to him, he actually comes into the pit. So Rosberg making his final pit stop there, gets out of the way, and so we come through into second place. Verline there in the pits, Rosberg in the pits, Ricciardo at the moment in first place out of nowhere, really. I actually didn't see Ricciardo for a lot of that third stint, so actually he's done a brilliant job to just come out there in first. Like, I don't know if he's yet to make a pit stop. It's all a little bit confusing there. I know Van Dorn just made his pit stop there, so Van Dorn is behind Verstappen at least, and maybe behind Hamilton. So we've got Verstappen and the two McLarens there, and Ricciardo up ahead by some few seconds. But Verstappen now lap 33 with 3 laps to go in this Grand Prix. Comes down my left-hand side. Hamilton will try and sniff around there. You can see Van Dorn not too far behind. Verstappen does a bit of a weird braking move into turn 1. He sort of double braked and opened DRS for like a second blip. For like a second there, so that was a little bit odd. But now into the S section on the same lap, we try and close up on Verstappen, and this is all looking like rather the same sort of move we made on Ricciardo, but this time it looks like we're getting an even better run than we did on Daniel. And can we try and make a move on Max here down the inside once more? But this time we're so much more alongside him than we were on Ricciardo, and we've made that move before we get to the hairpin, and so now we're up into second place. But look at that, Verstappen right there, 2 McLarens right there, and I think there's another car for position not too far behind, so it's all very close in the Mexican Grand Prix. I'm not getting the best exit on that last corner, and Verstappen will come right back at me on lap 34 here with the DRS. Hamilton will also get some DRS here. We go side by side with Verstappen. We try and push him to the right hand side of the circuit, but we need to watch out for the McLarens, both of them maybe on the left hand side there. I try and fend off, go back to the racing line and try and outbrake the McLarens and fend them off. Verstappen making a very good move there to kind of block me on the kind of entry to those 2 corners, the little chicane there, because I was going to get a better cutback line there. On lap 35 now, 2 laps to go in this Grand Prix, and we're coming back with DRS on Verstappen. We'll move to the left-hand side of the circuit there and get right past Verstappen nice and easily into second place at the moment. So we're looking good right now. We've got 1 lap left. We've got a few back markers ahead of us. Hopefully, fingers crossed, they won't be getting in the way of us. They look a little bit far ahead, so I don't think it should be much of an issue. We also get a second bite of DRS there, so that will help us get away from Verstappen a little bit. But as we come through the S section on the same lap here, we've actually been on rich mix for a few laps now to try and get away from these guys. I go down to standard and I just check my fuel. I just see for a little second there, and then I confirm it here. We're on minus fuel at the moment, and we've got 1 lap left in this Grand Prix. I immediately panic and go down to lean mix. I go wide as I'm trying to drive one-handed for a little bit to put it down to lean mix. We've got a bit of an issue right now. We've got to get this fuel down, because it's not like Australia Season 1 where we had a few laps to go. We have 1 lap to go and we're on negative fuel. We need to get this to optimum as fast as we can, but also at the same time I need to sort of put it back into standard mix on the straight here, otherwise we're going to be an absolute sitting duck. Verstappen now with some good slipstream and DRS, as you can imagine. He doesn't get through, but Van Dorn out of nowhere comes from like 5th place and comes up into second. I'm pretty sure he was behind behind Hamilton, but now Stoffel's completely just rocketed into a position here fighting me. We go really deep into the chicane to try and fend off Van Dorn, but that hinders my exit so much so that Van Dorn gets some good slipstream. DRS, he goes on the right. Verstappen is coming down my left-hand side, and for now, it's all going just completely wrong right now on the last lap. We're on optimum fuel right now, so we're good to push. We go side by side with Van Dorn, try our best to kind of push him wide a little bit. He's still side by side with us, still side by side. We push him wide there, and that works out for us. Verstappen is now back into third place, so that works out for us quite well through the S section now, so we just need to hold on, but a lot of understeer at the moment. You can see the prime tires starting to wear off, just a general sense of understeer as I have to go down one more gear on that right-hander to get the car to turn through. And on the exit of this left-hander, where we've been so mighty against the Red Bulls, Verstappen comes out of nowhere down the inside and does what I did to him. Comes down the inside, tries to get it done in the hairpin. I'm having none of it. I'll try my best to stick down the inside. Ricciardo has won the Grand Prix. We're battling through side by side through the last few corners. We try just hang around the outside. We got a little bit wide on the curb. Verstappen's hit us wide, and we've got a poor exit, and Van Dorn is going to come down the inside. That's the line. That's it. We've come in fourth. Van Dorn has got us on the line, and Verstappen got us in the second last corner and pushed us wide there on the last. And that is it. We've gone from second to fourth in the span of 2 corners. That is just so annoying. We've come 4th place. It was a noble fight, but in the end, that's 12 points, not 18. Daniel Ricciardo comes 1st place. It's a 1-2 for Red Bull there. And Van Dorn comes in 3rd place. We can see Sergio Perez in 20th. Unfortunately, after such a great start, he comes down in last place, DNFing. And Sebastian Vettel, another quite poor Grand Prix. He does better than previous races in terms of at least scoring some points, but just generally another poor Grand Prix for Vettel. But getting back to us, yeah, what a shame, but that was an absolutely electric race, a lot of battling going, a lot of slipstreaming. That was probably one of the heaviest slipstream DRS kind of tracks we're going to see this entire calendar, so that was pretty hectic down that main straight. Guys, nonetheless, whatever the result, if you have enjoyed it, smash that like button, let me know what you thought in the comments below. If you're new around here, then do subscribe for weekly Formula 1 content. I will see you guys next time. You're going to get my reaction in the post-race interviews. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.
Well, that was a rather eventful end to the Grand Prix. Can you tell us what happened on that last corner?
I don't really know, to be honest. I'm a little bit gutted after that last corner. Just so close to getting such a good 2nd place after especially the pace of Ricciardo out there. You know, good job to him. You know, he's done a great job to be quite out ahead of us, and I don't think the fighting really helped throughout the race. Our car seemed to get a little bit bogged down in some dirty air and just didn't seem to have the ability to get away from the cars when they were very close to us, unfortunately, on the straights. But yeah, I'm just a little bit gutted on the last corner. I think we had some fuel issues in the last lap, so I had to turn down the engine a little bit. So our engine wasn't exactly the best on grunt power. We then put it back up to standard because we were fine. But the car just didn't have any pace coming off the corner in sector 2, which is very strange because I was able to get both Red Bulls in a similar fashion, like Verstappen tried to get me at the end there and then just overcooked it into the last corner. I think I probably should have, in hindsight, parked it on the apex, but you know, these things happen. But yeah, and then on the exit, Verstappen I thought was a little aggressive on the exit. Didn't help me out in terms of momentum, hitting, you know, banging tyres, and then that's when Van Dorn got us. So yeah, gutted, a little bit gutted in the last corner.
And as for the rest of the race, how was it out there? Because it looked like the car was working very well in the 2nd sector, but lacked outright speed on the straights.
Yeah, the pace was good throughout the entire race. I was very surprised actually how much we're keeping up with the Red Bulls, because looking at Friday, I thought, you know, I think they would have been better in the race. Ricciardo obviously was. Verstappen, you know, we were able to get him there until the end. So yeah, you know, pace was good in sector 2, able to get the 2 Red Bulls off the exit of the corner, and also you know, we got past the Saubers very quick on, I think it was the 2nd stint, and the McLarens, yeah, they were struggling to keep up with us in the 2nd sector. So yeah, positives there, good pace there. Just again, last corner.
Looking at Red Bull, they looked absolutely mighty out there, even better than the McLaren Hondas today. Do you honestly think that form will continue?
Yeah, they look very, very good out there, and we go to Monaco next. Obviously, not a very power-hungry circuit, but it'll still help them out. That the upgrades come for Renault, and it's worked out so well for them. But also being a downforce circuit, I think their chassis is very strong. So I think right now, as just a guess, I think you could say they're probably going to be still right up there. But we could be coming back. McLaren could. Everyone's going to be bringing their specific Monaco updates there. So who really knows? But yeah, they're looking in a very strong position, and they've got a 1-2 here today. So
okay, thanks for your time.
All right, thanks a lot.